So you say that you sell how many chicks
About
per
200.
week here? 200 chicks a week, and you think you're probably the largest seller in the Bay Area
Yeah,
of baby chicks.
I don't really know of anybody else that sells them in the Bay Area.
And how many varieties do you have here?
It changes every week.
Oh, really? It's just
Yeah.
what your supplier brings to you?
Yeah, it's just whatever happens to be hatching that week.
And they're all $4.50 a chick?
All $4.50 a chick.
Can you get a discount if you buy a dozen, like eggs?
It's possible.
Okay.
Unlikely, but possible. I don't
All right.
mark the chicks up very high.
So
And they're
these.
all there because I pay for them to be vaccinated, and then
Oh, you do?
I pay for them all to be sexed.
Okay, so well then
So,
that's
yeah, I'm
a
paying
great
extra for them all
deal.
the way up. So, I'm
So
trying
you
to
know
make
the
sure.
sex, and you know that they've had shots when they.
Nobody's perfect. They're 96% hens. We're supposed to be.
96% hens, because if they get a rooster, it's not going to make most people happy because they're loud and they're.
Right. Right.
You don't need a rooster to have an egg, do you?
No. No.
The
Only if
hen
you want
can-
it fertile.
Only if you want it fertile, right? But most people just want to eat their
And
eggs.
most people can't have, or most counties don't allow roosters
Right.
in a residential.
Yeah, they're
area.
way too noisy. What color eggs do these chickens produce?
It's different for each breed.
They almost look, if you were to gather a basket of them, they would look like a basket of Easter eggs, wouldn't
These
they?
guys should all be brown egg. No, excuse me. The red sex links are probably a white egg layer. Delaware should be brown. Americanas, or the ones that they call Easter egg chickens, they lay different colored eggs. Could be blue, could be green, could be pink, could be brown.
The Americanas are down here in
Yeah,
this.
those.
They've got a darker cage. Do they like that better?
No, they just lucked out and got that one.
Okay. So when will these chicks start laying eggs?
About 6 months.
And how old are they now?
About a week and a half.
Yeah, babies, just hatched.
Mm-hmm.
But they come to you as chicks and not in the egg.
They come to me at about 2 days old.
Okay.
Yeah, they're hatched and then sent out.
Do they make good pets?
The more you handle them, the tamer they get, but they're like anything. Everybody has their own personality. Every dog does, every chicken does, every cat. So, you know, you could luck out and get one that's just wily. You
Yeah.
could get 3 that are really big, you know.
And is there a certain breed that will lay more eggs than another?
The white leghorns, the leghorns in general, are primarily bred for egg production. Rhode Island Reds. Actually, they call them a production red is the term for the really high producing ones.
The dark Rhode Island Reds? High producers?
Production reds.
Okay.
But yeah, dark Rhode Island red is pretty
Okay.
close to it. But yeah, some breeds will lay 2 eggs a day. Some will lay 1. Most birds will lay eggs for about 8 months, 7 to 8 months out of the year, and then as the colder winter months come on and the shorter days, we usually turn them off, unless you're breeding them or raising them in a warehouse where you can keep lights on them to kind of keep them laying all the time.
So they won't lay eggs if it's too dark and
It gets,
cold out.
yeah, it's just the way they're programmed to shut off is, and kind of go through a molting where they lose their feathers and grow back new ones and all that stuff.
This is really just a hobby for people, isn't it? I mean, you're never going to break even with the amount of food you have to feed them,
absolutely
the
not.
cage and everything. 2 eggs
By
a
the
day
time you
is...
buy a cage and a light and food and water and raise them and pay for the chick and then pay for food, you'll never get your money back.
Yeah.
No way.
So it's a fad right now, and it's a fad because people want organic eggs.
Yeah, it's just kind of become like, they even have magazines now that are coming out that are like hobby farms or chickens in your backyard, and those are just the names of the book, and that's all that they cover. And like I said, I don't know if necessarily fad's the right word, but for certain,
It's a trend.
Yeah, it's a trend.
It's definitely
it's
a trend,
fad.
yeah.
You know, you pick your word how you want to
Yeah.
use it, but it's just kind of what's popular now.
And they go outrageously wild with the chicken coops, don't they? I mean,
Yeah.
they get into these architectural designs and try to outdo each other.
And now their big thing is they put vegetable gardens on the roof and use the manure as fertilizer.
Wow. That makes use of every bit of space, doesn't it? And chicken manure is, of course, you buy it in
Right.
big sacks and it's expensive. Huh. Who's got the biggest chicken coop around here?
Ooh, that's a good question. There's some places down in Pescadero that have a couple thousand birds.
And they're just family homes, backyards?
No.
Oh, they're raising them commercially?
Raising them commercially
Oh, okay.
and using them as meat
Yeah.
birds and egg production.
Yeah. I imagine most people who buy your chicks, though, are not going to eventually eat them. They're just going to eat the eggs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then I also get into turkeys and ducks and that kind of thing as it gets closer to Easter and fair time for the 4-H kids and FFA kids.
Oh, yeah. What about this little dark feathered guy? Does he ever
Black-
feel
that's
like,
a-
yeah, does
that's
he
a
ever
black
feel,
sex link.
and what does that mean?
It's just a breed.
I can see if I
When
can
they
find
get
him
bigger,
here.
they'll be black with kind of red speckles on their neck.
Oh, okay. So he gets along fine with everybody else, and
Oh yeah, they don't know the difference.
they don't know that some have brown feathers, and
Not a clue.
they are really cute. They seem to like their picture taken. Look at
Yeah,
this one.
yeah,
Look at
they're
this
pretty
one.
intrigued by it.
It's coming right up to the camera. It's adorable. Well, thank you so much. What's your name?
Robert.
Robert. What's your last name?
Coy.
C-O-Y?
Well, that's the easiest way to just
C-O-
spell it. It's nothing like it sounds.
Spell it for me.
C-A-U-G-H-E-Y.
C-A-U-G-H-E-Y. And your title here?
Assistant manager.
Thank you.